First question. Which statement is correct regarding Grama Sabha? It is a body consisting of persons registered in the electoral rolls of a village comprised within the area of the panchayat level. Second point. It is a village assembly consisting of all the registered voters in the area of the panchayat. Third point. Its power have been determined by the state legislature. Fourth, its power and functions at village level are like state legislature at the state level. All the points are correct. Second question. Which statement is true about Panchayat Raj? Election of the Panchayat Raj institution is conducted under the guidance of the State Election Commission. This statement is true. Third question. The Lieutenant Governor of a Union Territory can issue an ordinance only after obtaining instructions from the President. Every Union Territory is administered by the President acting through an administrator appointed by him. The Lieutenant Governor is empowered to promulgate ordinances during recess of the Assembly. An ordinance has the same force as an act of the Assembly. Every such ordinance must be approved by the Assembly within 6 weeks from its reassembly. Question number 4. Which amendment of the Constitution of India limits the number of ministers? Answer 91st. The Constitution Act 2003 restricts the size of the Council of Ministers to 15% of the total number of the members in Parliament or a state legislature. The amendment also strengthened anti-defection law and withdrew the protection to the member of a house from disqualification on the grounds of defection in case of split in the political party. Question number 5. In which part of the Indian Constitution are central-state relations mentioned? Answer part 11, Article 245 to 255. And Articles 245 to 255 in Part 11 of the Constitution deals with the legislative relations between centre and the state. The Parliament can make laws for the whole or any part of the territory of India. Territory of India includes the states, UTs and any other area for the time being included in the territory of India. Question 6. Who among the following is the final interpreter of the provisions of the rules of procedure and conduct of business of the Legislative Assembly? Answer, Speaker. 7th. The Governor of the state holds office during the pleasure of the President. Question 8. Which schedule of the Constitution of India contains the special provision for the administration and control of the scheduled areas in several states? Answer, 5th schedule. Question 9. Which article of Constitution deals with the abolition or creation of a legislative assembly? Article 169. Article 169. Parliament may by law provide for the abolition of the legislative council of state having such a council or for the creation of such a council in a state having no such council. If the legislative assembly of the state passes a resolution to that effect may by a majority of the total membership of the assembly and by a majority of not less than 2/3 of the members of the assembly present and voting. Question 10. Who among the following determines the authority who shall readjust the allocation of seats in the Lok Sabha to the states and division of each state into territorial constituency? Answer, the Parliament of India. According to Article 82 of the Indian Constitution, the Parliament of India shall readjust the allocation of seats in the Lok Sabha to the states and division of each state into territorial constituency. Question 11. With reference to the election of President, consider the following statements. The President is elected not directly by the people but by the members of the Electoral College consisting of the elected members of both the houses of Parliament, the elected members of Legislative Assembly of the state, elected members of the Union Territories with legislative assemblies. Note, both the elected and nominated members of the legislative assemblies do not participate in presidential election. Question 12. Consider the following statements with respect to estimate committees of Parliament. It consists of 30 members and all are from Lok Sabha only. The Rajya Sabha has no representation in this committee. The chairman of the committee is appointed by Speaker and he is invariably from the ruling party. The term of office of this committee is 1 year. Question number 13. With reference to the money bill, consider the following statements. Article 110 of the Constitution related to the money bill. Some important features of money bill are: unlike ordinary bill, a money bill can be introduced in Lok Sabha only or on the prior recommendation of the President. Rajya Sabha has limited powers with respect to money bill. It cannot reject or amend a money bill. It can only make recommendations. Lok Sabha can either accept or reject its recommendations. Moreover, Rajya Sabha has to return a money bill within 14 days. If it fails to do so, the bill shall deem to have been passed by both the houses of the Parliament. The President may either give his assent to the bill or withhold his assent to the bill, but cannot return the bill for the reconsideration of the houses. Question 14. Which of the following are compulsory provision of the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, Part 11 of the Constitution? There are two kinds of provisions in the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992 or Part 9 of the Constitution, compulsory and voluntary provisions, granting financial powers to the Panchayat, that is, authorizing them to levy, collect or appropriate taxes, duties, tolls and fees in a voluntary provision in the Part 9 of the Constitution. Indirect elections to the post of chairperson of Panchayat at the intermediate or district level, constitution of a state finance commission after every 5 years to review the financial position of the Panchayats, reservation of seats for SC and STs in Panchayat at all the 3 levels. Question 15. Consider the following features of administration contained in the 6th schedule of the Constitution. The Constitution and the 6th schedule contains special provision for the administration of tribal areas in the 4 northeastern states of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram. The tribal areas in the 4 states of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram have been constituted as autonomous district. The governor is empowered to organize and recognize the autonomous district. The governor can appoint a commission to examine and report on any matter relating to the administration of the autonomous districts or region. Question 16. Consider the following statement with respect to following devices of parliamentary proceeding. Question R is the first hour of every parliamentary sitting. It is mentioned in the rules of procedure of Parliament. Adjournment motion is introduced only in the Lok Sabha to draw the attention of the House to a definite matter of urgent public importance. It involves an element of censure against the government. So, Rajya Sabha is not permitted to use adjournment motion. Censure motion can be moved against an individual minister or a group of ministers or an entire council of ministers. Question 17. Choose the correct option from the alternatives given below. The Union Executive consists of President, Vice President, Prime Minister, Council of Ministers, Attorney General of India. Article 52 to 78 in Part 5 of the Constitution deals with the Union Executive. The Union Executive consists of President, Vice President, Prime Minister, Council of Ministers and Attorney General of India. Question number 18. With reference to election to the Panchayats, consider the following statement. All questions of disqualification shall be referred to such authority as the state legislature determines. State Election Commission is vested with the power of superintendence, direction and control of the preparation of electoral and the conduct of all elections to the municipalities. As per the 74th Amendment Act of 1992, no person shall be disqualified on the grounds that he is less than 25 years of age if he has attained the age of 21 years. A person shall be disqualified for being chosen as or being member of the municipality if he is so disqualified. First point, under any law for the time being in force for the purpose of election to the legislature of the state concerned, or under any law made by the state legislature may make provision with respect to all matters relating to the election to the municipalities. Question number 19. Is the following statement regarding position and authority of the Deputy Speaker? Deputy Speaker is not subordinate to the Speaker. He is directly responsible to the House. He presides over the joint sitting of both the Houses of the Parliament in case of Speaker is absent for such a sitting. Whenever he is appointed as the member of the Parliamentary Committee, he automatically becomes its chairman. Question 20. Which of the following statements are correct regarding joint session of the House of the Parliament in India? Joint sitting is an extraordinary machinery provided by the Constitution to resolve the deadlock between the two houses over the passage of a bill. A deadlock is seen to have taken place under any one of the following three situations after the bill has been passed by one house and transmitted to the other house. If the first point, if the bill is rejected by the other house. Second, if the house have finally disagreed as to the amendments to be made in the bill. Third, if more than 6 months have elapsed from the date of the recipient of the bill by the other house without the bill being passed by it. In the above three situations, the President can summon both the houses to meet in a joint sitting for the purpose of deliberating and voting on the bill. Since 1950, the provision of joint sitting has been invoked only thrice. That is Dowry Bill 1960, Banking Service Commission Bill 1977, Prevention of Terrorism Bill 2002. So it's not frequently restored. Some other point regarding joint session. The first point, there is no provision of joint sitting session at state level in case of state having bicameral legislature. The provision of joint sitting is applicable to ordinary bill or financial bill only and not to money bills or constitutional amendment bills. Third point, the Speaker of Lok Sabha presided over the joint sitting of the two houses and the Deputy Speaker in his absence. Chairman of Rajya Sabha does not preside over a joint sitting. The fourth point, the quorum to constitute a joint sitting is 1/10 of the total number of members of the two houses. Question number 21. Which among the following is the function of the pro tem Speaker of the Lok Sabha? Swear in the members of the House and hold the charge till the regular Speaker is elected. The Speaker pro tem is usually the senior most member is elected as the pro tem Speaker. The President will administer the oath of the office for the pro tem Speaker. The main duty of the pro tem Speaker is to administer the oath to the newly elected members. When the House elects the new Speaker, the office of the pro tem Speaker ceases to exist. Hence, the office of the pro tem Speaker is a temporary one which will be in existence for few days. Question number 22. Which of the statements given below are correct? The Armed Forces, that is Special Force Act, AFSPA, was passed on September 11, 1958, to help the army in tackling the disturbed area of the northeast Indian hills of Assam. AFSPA is the law which gives immense power to armed forces to maintain the rule of law in the disturbed area. The Armed Force Assam and Manipur Special Power Act 1958 empowered only the governors of the state and administrators of the union territories to declare areas in the concerned state or the union territories to disturb as, as disturbed. As per the Section 3 of the AFSPA, it is mandatory to seek the opinion of the state government that whether an area is disturbed or not. If an area is declared as the disturbed area, it will be under the control of the special forces for at least 3 months. Question number 23. Which of the following recommendations of the Sarkaria Commission are correct related to the governor? The governor's term of office 5 years should not be disturbed except very rarely. The governors cannot dismiss the Council of Ministers so long as it commands a majority in the Assembly. The consultation of Chief Justice of Supreme Court was not a recommendation of the Sarkaria Commission. Question number 24. On which of the following matters does the Parliament have the power to make laws to amend the Constitution by a simple majority? Answer: alteration of names, boundaries and areas of state, abolition or the establishment of second chamber in the state legislature, administration of the scheduled areas. Question number 25. Which of the following are correct in respect to 0-hour discussion? 0-hour. 0-hour is an Indian parliamentary innovation. It is not mentioned in the parliamentary rules book. Under this, MPs can raise matters without any prior notice. The 0-hour starts immediately after the question hour and lasts until the agenda for the day, that is regular basis of the House, is taken up. In other words, the time gap between the question hour and the agenda is known as 0-hour. Question number 26. Consider the following statement. Simple majority. The majority of more than 50% of the members present and voting. Second, effective majority. Majority of the House means more than 50% of the effective strength of the House. Third one, special majority. Requires majority of 2/3 of the members present and voting. All the options are correct. Question 27. Which among the following statements are true about finance bill? All money bills are finance bill, but not all finance bill are money bills. Some type of finance bills can be changed or rejected by the Rajya Sabha. Some type of finance bills can be introduced in either of the houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Question 28. Which of the following is the merit of the parliamentary system? Answer: harmony between executive and the legislature, responsible and clean. Third one, people's government. Fourth, quick decision making. 29th. The Vice President of India may be removed from his office by a resolution passed by Rajya Sabha and with effective majority and with simple majority of Lok Sabha. The formal impeachment is not required for the removal of Vice President. He can be removed by a resolution passed by the majority of all the then members of the Rajya Sabha and agreed to by the Lok Sabha. This means that this resolution should be passed in Rajya Sabha by an effective majority and in the Lok Sabha by a simple majority. Question 30. Consider the following statement regarding executive powers of the President of India. The Interstate Council is a non-permanent constitutional body set up by the President presidential order on the basis of the provision in Article 263 of the Constitution of India. The body is formed by the presidential order dated 28 May 1990 on the recommendation of Sarkaria Commission. The chairman of the Interstate Council is the Prime Minister of India. Question 31. Consider the following statement regarding the legislative power of center and the state. The power to make laws with respect to residuary subject, that is, matters which are not enumerated in any of the three lists, is vested in the Parliament. This residuary power of legislature includes the power to levy residuary taxes. Only Parliament can make laws on any matter in the state list for implementing the international treaties, agreements and convention. This provision enables the central government to fulfill its international obligations and commitments. Some examples of law enacted under the above provision are the United Nations, that is Privilege and Immunities Act 1947, Geneva Convention Act 1960, Anti-Hijacking Act 1982 and legislation regarding the environment and TRIPS. Question number 32. Consider the following statement regarding statutory grants. Article 275 empowers the Parliament to make grants to the state which are in need of financial assistance and not to every state. The statutory grants under Article 275, both general and specific, are given to the states on the recommendation of the Financial Commission. Question number 33. Consider the following statement regarding the Prime Minister of India. Prime Minister is the de jure executive authority. Prime Minister is the de facto executive or the real executive authority, and the President is the de jure executive or nominal executive authority. In other words, the President is the head of the state, while the Prime Minister is the head of the government. Question number 34. The Prime Minister of India as the chairman of which of the following bodies? First one, the Home Minister of the central government is a common chairman of the 5 zonal councils, not Prime Minister. He is the chairman of the Niti Aayog, National Integrational Council, National Water Resource Zonal Council, which is succeeded by Planning Niti Aayog, which is succeeded by Planning Commission, National Integration Council, Interstate Council, National Water Resource Council, and some other bodies. Question number 35. Which one of the following veto powers is not conferred to the President of India? Answer: qualified veto power. Other explanations. Absolute veto: withholding of assent to the bill passed by the legislature. Qualified veto: if a bill which has been rejected by President for the first time and the same bill is reapproved by the Parliament with 2/3 of majority, President veto will be qualified. Suspension veto: if a bill which was rejected by President for the first time and the same is reapproved by the Parliament with a simple majority, President veto is suspensive, implying that presidential veto is overridden by a repassage of the bill by same ordinary. Pocket veto: this taking no action on the bill passed by the legislature. The President of India is vested with three: absolute veto, suspensive veto, and pocket veto. There is no qualified veto in the case of Indian President. It is possessed by the American President. Question number 36. Consider the following statements. Rajya Sabha can declare the subject included in the state list as a subject of national importance by passing a resolution supported by not less than 2/3 members present and voting. The Rajya Sabha has the power to create new all India services. Question number 37. How does participatory budgeting seek to make the functioning of local governance institutions more transparent and accountable? Participatory budgeting is the process by which citizens deliberate and negotiate over the distribution of public resources. It creates opportunities for engaging, educating, and empowering citizens, which can equip and advance a more vibrant civil society. The concept is closely connected with the theory of good governance given by the World Bank in 1992. This process helps citizens to voice their opinion and decide on how to allocate part of a municipal or public budget for the betterment of their neighborhood. It is an opportunity in which the common citizens can decide on the allocation and distribution of the public expenditure in their areas or region. The Constitution of India, by virtue of 74th Constitutional Amendment, incorporated certain aspects of participatory budgeting. Its main aim was to address the issues of lack of good governance in the local government bodies. The amendment introduced some participation by citizens in the municipal committees. Question number 38. Which one among the following committee of the Parliament of India has no members of the Rajya Sabha? Answer: Estimate Committee. All the 30 members of the Estimate Committee are from Lok Sabha only. The Rajya Sabha has no representation in this committee. The members are elected by the Lok Sabha every year from amongst its own members according to the principle of proportional representation by means of the single transferable vote. Which of the following part of the Constitution deals with the state government? Answer: Part 6. Article 168 to 212 in Part 6 of the Constitution deals with the organization, composition, duration, officers, procedure, privileges, powers, and so on of the state legislature. Question number 40. The person who is appointed as Chief Minister should be the member of either house of the state legislature. Question number 41. Article 154 states that the governor can exercise his executive authority either directly or through officers subordinate to him. The word subordinates include all the ministers and the chief minister. Question number 42. Assertion. Question 42. A person who is eligible for election as president should fulfill the following qualification. He should be the citizen of India. He should have completed 35 years of age. He should be qualified for election as the member of the Lok Sabha. He should not hold any office of profit under the union government or any state government or any local authority or any other public authority. President is eligible for re-election to that office. He may be elected for any number of terms. Question number 43. Framers of Indian Constitution borrowed the feature of joint sitting of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha from which constitution? Answer: Australia. Article 108, that is joint sitting of the two houses, is borrowed from Australian Constitution. Question number 44. A bill is deemed to be money bill if it has any provision dealing with. Article 110 of the Constitution deals with money bill. Money bills. A bill is said to be money bill if it only contains provisions related to taxation, borrowing of money by the government, expenditure from or receipt to the Consolidated of India. Bills that only contains provisions that are incidental to these matters would also be regarded as money bill. Article 110 Clause 2 says that bill shall not be deemed to be a money bill by reason only that it provides for the imposition of fines and other pecuniary penalties or for the demand or payment of fees for license or fees for service rendered or by reason that it provides for the imposition, abolition, remission, alteration or regulation of any tax, by any local authority or body for local purpose. A money bill may be introduced in Lok Sabha on the recommendation of President. It must be passed in Lok Sabha by a simple majority of all the members provide present and voting. Following this, it may be sent to Rajya Sabha for its recommendations, which Lok Sabha may reject if it chooses to. If such recommendations are not given within 14 days, it will be deemed to be passed by Parliament. Question number 45. Consider the following statement about the President of India, which are correct. The President has the right to address and send message to the Council of Ministers to elicit specific information. The President can call for information relating to proposal for legislation. All decisions of the Council of Ministers relating to the administration of the Union must be communicated to the President. Question number 46. After the general election, the pro tem speaker is the senior most member of the Lok Sabha. Question number 47. Which of the following statements relating to the office of President of India are correct? Article 72 of the Constitution empowers the President to grant pardon to persons who have been tried and convicted for any offence in all cases. The President can promulgate an ordinance only with both the Houses of Parliament and not in session or when either of the two Houses of the Parliament is not in session. Every ordinance issued by the President during the recess of the Parliament must be laid before the House of Parliament when it reassembles. If the ordinance is approved by both the Houses, it becomes an act. If Parliament takes no action at all, the ordinance ceases to operate on the expiry of 6 weeks from the reassembly of Parliament. Rajya Sabha is the permanent house. It cannot be dissolved. Recently, the government has tabled the bill to terminate the provision of nomination of two members of the Lok Sabha from the Anglo-Indian community. However, these provisions will follow till 16th Lok Sabha. Question number 48. In the Rajya Sabha, the states have been given seats in accordance with their population. The representatives in the state in the Rajya Sabha are elected by the elected members of the state legislative assemblies. The election is held in accordance with the system of proportional representation by means of a single transferable vote. The seats are allotted to the states in the Rajya Sabha on the basis of population. Hence, the number of representatives varies from state to state. The fourth schedule of the Constitution deals with the allocation of seats in the Rajya Sabha to the states and the union territories. In USA, all the states are given equal representation in the Senate irrespective of their population. USA has 50 states and Senate has 100 members, 2 from each state. Question number 49. The Chief Minister of the state can be removed if a no confidence motion is passed by the Legislative Assembly. Second point. In the opinion of the Governor, there is a breakdown of constitutional machinery in the state. Article 62 Clause 2 states that the minister shall hold office during the pleasure of the President. That means minister will be liable to be removed on two grounds. One ground on which he would be liable to dismissal if that he has lost the confidence of the House, and secondly that his administration is not pure, because the word used here is pleasure. It would be perfectly open under the particular clause of Article 62 for the President to call for the removal of that particular minister on the grounds that he is guilty of corruption or bribery or maladministration. Question number 50. The Rajya Sabha has been given exclusive on or special power to authorize the Parliament to make the law on a subject enumerated in the state list and the concurrent list, and to create new all India services common to both the centre and the state under Article 249 and 312. With reference to executive power of Union, consider the following statement. Executive power of the Union must be exercised in accordance with the Constitution, including including in particular article with Article 14. Executive power of the Union may be exercised without prior legislative support. Question of Question 52. With reference to special provisions with respect to certain states, which of the following are correctly matched? 337B, Nagaland. 371B, Nagaland. 371A, Arunachal Pradesh. Oh, Assam is 371B, Nagaland is 371A, Arunachal Pradesh is 371H. Assam is 3. Again, question number 52. With reference to special provision with respect to certain state, which of the following are correctly matched? State and article. State Assam, Article 371B. State Nagaland, Article 371A. Arunachal Pradesh, Article 371H. Question number 53. After question hour, a motion moved by a member of parliament to draw the attention of executive for discussing a definite matter of public importance is adjournment motion. Adjournment motion is a procedure for adjournment of the business of the House for the purpose of discussing a definite matter of urgent public importance, which can be moved with the consent of the speaker. In other words, after question hour, an adjournment motion is moved by the member of parliament to draw the attention of executive for discussing a definite matter of public importance. It only allowed in Lok Sabha. Question number 54. Which of the following amendment of the Constitution provide the alternative scheme of devolution of revenue between the state and the center? Answer: Constitutional 80th Amendment Act. Constitution 80th Amendment Act 2000 has provided for an alternative scheme of devolution of revenue between the center and the state. This was enacted on the basis of recommendations of the 10th Finance Commission, which recommended that out of the total income obtained from the central tax and duties, 29% should be distributed among the states. Question number 55. The government enacted the Panchayat Extension to Scheduled Areas, that is PISA Act, in 1999. The salient features of the Panchayat Extension of the Scheduled Areas Act 1996 and the modalities worked out to grant a right to tribals in the country are: first point, legislation on Panchayat shall be in conformity with the customary law, social and religious practices and traditional management practices of the community resource. Second, habitation or a group of habitations or a hamlet or a group of hamlet comprising a community and managing its affairs in accordance with the tradition and customs, and shall have separate Gram Sabha. Third point, every Gram Sabha to safeguard and preserve the tradition and custom of people, their cultural identity, community resource, and the customary mode of dispute resolution. Question number 56. Consider the following statements regarding impeachment of president and choose the correct options from alternative given below. An impeachment is a quasi-judicial procedure in the parliament. In this regard, the nominated members of the either house of parliament can participate in the impeachment of the president, though they do not participate in his election. The elected members of the legislative assemblies of state and the union territories of Delhi and Puducherry do not participate in the impeachment of the president, though they participate in his election. Question number 57. To be eligible for the election of vice president, which of the following are correct qualification he must be fulfilled? To be eligible for the election as vice president, the person should fulfill the following qualifications. He should be a citizen of India. He should have completed 35 years of age. He should be qualified for election as a member of Rajya Sabha. He should not hold any office of profit under the union government or any state government or any local authority or any public authority. Question number 58. The Constitution of India provides special provision for some states under Part 21 with the intention to Article 371 to 371J in Part 21 of the Constitution of India provides special provision for 12 states. They are Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Sikkim, Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh, Gujarat, Nagaland, Assam, Manipur, Goa, Karnataka. The purpose behind them is to meet the aspiration of the people of backward region of the states or to protect the cultural and economic interest of the tribal people of the states and to deal with the disturbed law and order condition in some parts of the state or to protect the interest of the local people of the states. Question 59. What does the rule of lapse mean? The demand for grants of the ministry lapse with criticism of its policy by the opposition. Question number 60. Which of the following statements regarding Rajya Sabha are correct? The maximum strength of Rajya Sabha is fixed at 250, out of which 238 are to be the representatives of the state and the UTs, and 12 are nominated by the President. At present, Rajya Sabha has 245 members. Of these, 229 members represent the states, 4 members represent UTs, and 12 members are nominated by the President. Rajya Sabha has special power under Article 312 for the creation of All India services. Question number 61. Consider the following statements. The Speaker is elected by the Lok Sabha from amongst its members. The House elects its presiding officer by a simple majority of members present who vote in the House. Whenever the office of Speaker falls vacant, the Lok Sabha elects another member to fill the vacancy. The Constitution has given the lower house authority to remove the Speaker if needed. The House can remove the Speaker through a resolution passed by an effective majority, that is more than 50% of the total strength of the House present and voting. As per in Article 94 and 96 of the Indian Constitution, the Speaker can also be removed on getting disqualified from being the Lok Sabha member under Section 7 and 8 of the Representation of the People Acts 1951. The Deputy Speaker performs the duties of the Speaker's office when it is vacant. He also acts as the Speaker when the latter is absent from the sitting of the House. In both the cases, he assumes all the power of the Speaker. He is presides over the joint sitting of the House, joint sitting of both the House of Parliament. In case of Speaker is absent from such a sitting both, but when the Speaker presides over the House, the Deputy Speaker is like any other ordinary member of the House. He can speak in the House, participate in its proceeding and vote on any question before the House. Question number 62. A member of Lok Sabha does not become disqualified to continue as the member of the House if the member is expelled by the political party from which he has been elected to the House. Disqualification on grounds of defection apart from Article 112. The 10th schedule of the Constitution provides for the disqualification of the members on grounds of defection. Defection refers to the desertion of one party in favor of opposing one. As per the provision of the 10th schedule, a member may be disqualified if he voluntarily gives up the membership of his political party which give him ticket to contest and win, votes or abstains from voting in the House contrary to any direction issued by the political party to which he belongs, unless such voting or abstention has been condemned by the political party within 15 days. A member elected as an independent candidate shall be disqualified if he joins any political party after his election. However, a nominated member is allowed to join a political party provided he joins such political party of his choice within a period of 6 months. After that period, joining a political party would lead to defection and disqualification. Which among the following statements are not true about public bill? Answer: notice period for introduction of the bill is 1 month. Answer: notice period for the introduction of the bill is 7 days. The notice period of 1 month is required for a private bill. Generally, it's about public bill. Generally, it has a better chance for the approval than the private bill. Public bill is introduced by the minister in the parliament. A public bill demonstrates the policies of the ruling party government. Question number 64. The governor may recommend the imposition of the president's rule in the state if he is convinced that the government of the state cannot be carried out on in accordance with the provision of the Constitution of India. Article 356 empowers the President to issue a proclamation if he is satisfied that a situation has arisen in which the government of the state cannot be carried on in accordance with the provision of the state. Notably, the President can act either on the report of the governors of the state or otherwise too. Question number 65. Which one among the following is not a recommendation of the Sarkaria Commission on the appointment of the governor in the state? Answer: the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court may be consulted by the President in selecting the governor. This option is wrong. While seeking governor, the central government should adopt the following strict guidelines as recommended in the Sarkaria Commission report. He should be eminent in some walk of life. He should be a person from outside the state. He should be a detached figure and not too intimately connected with the local politics of the state. He should be a person who has not taken too great a part in politics generally and particularly in the recent past. The governor's term of office years in the state should be disturbed except for some extremely compelling reason. Question number 66. Which among the following are the features of the federal state? Answer: the power of the central and the state government are clearly laid down. Question number 67. Which among the following pairs of the level of government and legislature power is not correctly matched? Answer: local government, statutory power. This is not correctly matched. 7th schedule of the Indian Constitution provides for state list in which entry 5 rates local government, that is to say the constitution and the power of the municipal corporation, improvement trust, district boards, mining settlement authorities and other local authorities for the purpose of local self-government or village administration. Question number 68. Which of the following statements are correct? Article 200 of the Indian Constitution deals with the power of the government with regard to the assent given to bills passed by the state legislature and other powers of the governor, such as reserving the bill for the president's consideration. According to Article 200, when a bill is passed by the legislature of a state, it presented to the governor. He has 4 options. He assent to the bill, he withholds assent, he reserves the bill for the consideration of the president, he returns the bill to the legislature for reconsideration. Question number 69. With reference to the conduct of the government business in the Parliament of India, the term closure refers to a rule of legislative procedure under which further debate on a motion can be halted. Closure motion is a motion moved by a member to cut short the debate on the matter before the House. If the motion is approved by the House, debate is stopped forthwhile, and the matter is put to vote. Question number 70. Consider the following statement with respect to Constitutional 74th Amendment Act 1992. There is no three-tier municipality structures like Panchayat Raj system. The election of chairperson of the municipality is not specified in the constitution. The state legislative assembly can provide for the manner of election of chairman or urban local bodies through appropriate legislation. Question number 71. The Metropolitan Planning Committee, while preparing the draft plan, to huge due regard to matters of common interest between municipalities and panchayat, overall objectives and priorities set by the union government, plans prepared by the panchayats in metropolitan areas. All these are correct. Question number 72. Which of the following has jurisdiction to decide a dispute between the central government and the state government? Answer: Supreme Court under Article 131 of the Constitution of India. Question 73. Which one among the following statements about veto power with regard to United Nations are correct? Answer: one veto can stall Security Council resolution. The United Nations Security Council veto power refers to the power of the 5 permanent members: United States, United Kingdom, France, Russia and China of the United Nations Security Council to veto any substantive resolution. However, the permanent members' absence or absence does not prevent a draft resolution from being adopted. Question number 74. The Speaker of Lok Sabha may be removed from the office by a resolution passed by the majority of all the members of the House. The Speaker is removed by the resolution passed by the majority of the members of the local House. Such a resolution can be moved only after giving 14 days advance notice. When a resolution for the removal of the Speaker is under consideration of the House, he cannot preside at the sitting of the House, though he may be present. Question number 75. Consider the following statement relating to the procedure of election of the Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the Lok Sabha. The Speaker is elected by the Lok Sabha from amongst its members as soon as may be after its first sitting. Whenever the office of the Speaker falls vacant, the Lok Sabha elects other members to fill the vacancy. The date of election of the Speaker is fixed by the President. Like the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker is also elected by the Lok Sabha itself from among its members. He is elected after the election of the Speaker has taken place. The date of election of the Deputy Speaker is fixed by the Speaker. Whenever the office of Deputy Speaker falls vacant, the Lok Sabha elects another member to fill the vacancy. Question number 76. Besides representation, the Parliament of India is also a deliberative body with diverse function. Which one among the following is not a function of the Parliament in India? Answer: executing major policy decision. This is not its function. The primary function of the Parliament is to make law for the governance of the country. It has exclusive power to make laws on the subject enumerated in the Union list and on the residuary subjects. Although the implementation of the policies, law scheme, etc. is to be done by the executive body of the government, Parliament also ventilate the grievance of the people to check and balance the executive organ of government in the Parliament. The Parliament exercises control over the executive through question hour, 0 hour and half an hour discussion, short duration discussion, calling attention motion, adjournment motion, no confidence motion, censure motion and other discussion. It also supervises the activities of the executive with the help of its committee like Committee on Government Assurance, Committee on Subordinate Legislation, Committee on Petition, etc. The budget is placed before the Parliament for its approval. The Parliament also scrutinizes the government's spending and financial performance with the help of its financial committees. These include Public Accounts Committee, Estimate Committee, Committee on Public Undertaking. Parliament can amend the Constitution in 3 ways. First one by simple majority, second by special majority, third by special majority with the consent of half of all the state legislature. However, the constituent power of the Parliament is not unlimited. It is subjected to the basic structure of the Constitution. Question number 77. Electoral disputes arising out of presidential and vice president election are settled by Supreme Court of India. Question number 78. Consider the following statement. The maximum strength of Lok Sabha is fixed to 552. Out of this, 530 members are the representatives of the state, 20 members are to be the representatives of the UTs, and 2 members are to be nominated by the President from the Anglo-Indian community. For the purpose of the holding direct elections to the Lok Sabha, each state is divided into territorial constituencies. In this respect, Constitution makes the following two provisions. Each state is allotted a number of seats in the Lok Sabha in such a manner that the ratio between the number and its population is the same for all states. This provision does not apply to the state having the population less than 6 million. Each state is divided into territorial constituencies in such a manner that the ratio between the population of each state and the number of seats allotted to it is the same throughout the state. The 42nd Amendment Act of 1976 froze the allocation of seat in the Lok Sabha to the states and the division of each state into territorial constituencies till the year 2000 at the 1971 level. This ban and readjustment was extended for another 25 years, that is up to year 2026 by the 84th Amendment Act of 2001 with the same objective of encouraging population limiting measure. Question number 79. The tenure of every panchayat shall be for 5 years from the date of its first meeting. Question number 80. The President of India is elected by the proportional representation system through single transferable vote. This implies that MPs and MLAs of different states have different number of votes. The president election is held in accordance with the system of proportional representation by means of a single transferable vote, and the voting is by secret ballot. This system ensures that the successful candidate is returned by the absolute majority of votes. The Constitution provides that there shall be uniformity in the scale of representation of different states as well as parity between the states as a whole and the union at the election of the president. MPs and MLAs do not have one vote each, but their votes are equal to the average number of the people they represent. Since MPs represent the whole country, they have more votes. MLAs have fewer votes than MPs as they represent only the people of their state. This is called proportional representation. MPs is the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha have 107 votes each. MLAs from Uttar Pradesh have the largest number of votes. The value of vote of each member of the Legislative Assembly of Uttar Pradesh is 208 and that of Sikkim is 7. Question number 81. Which of the following committee are the committees of Parliament? Answer: Public Accounts Committee, Estimate Committee, Committee on Public Undertaking. Public Account Committee consists of 22 members, 15 from the Lok Sabha, 7 from the Rajya Sabha. The members are elected by the Parliament every year from amongst its members according to the principle of proportional representation by means of a single transferable vote. In Estimate Committee, all the 30 members are from Lok Sabha only. The Rajya Sabha has no representation in this committee. The Committee of Public Undertaking of composition 11 from the Lok Sabha and 7 from the Rajya Sabha. Question number 82. Who among the following look after the center-state finance relation? Answer: Finance Commission. The Finance Commission is a constitutionally mandated body that is at the center of fiscal federalism, set up under Article 280 of the Constitution. Its core responsibility is to evaluate the state of finance of the union and the state governments, recommended the sharing of tax between them, and lay down the principles determining the distribution of these tax among states. Question number 83. Which of the following regarding the Rajya Sabha are correct? Rajya Sabha is not subjected to dissolution. It has a term of 5 years. 1/3 of the members retired every year. Question number 84. Which one of the following statements is correct with regard to the power of Parliament in enacting the budget? It cannot increase a tax but can reduce or reduce and abolish it. Consider the following statements regarding the President of India. If the election of a person as a president is declared void by the Supreme Court for the acts done by him before the date of such declaration of the Supreme Court, then the acts done by him on the capacity of the President of India shall be in force and not be invalidated. The President is entitled to a number of privileges and immunities. He enjoys personal immunity from legal liability for his official acts. During his term of office, he is immune from any criminal proceedings, and even in respect of his personal act, he cannot be arrested or imprisoned. Consider the following statement. Question number 86. Establishment of three-tier Panchayat Raj system, a Gram Panchayat at village level, Panchayat Samiti at the block level, and Jilla Parishad at the district level. The village Panchayat should be constituted with direct elected representatives, whereas the Panchayat Samiti and Jilla Parishad should be constituted with indirectly elected members. Rajasthan was the first state to establish Panchayat. Rajasthan was the first state to establish Panchayati Raj. Though most of the states create Panchayati Raj institution by the mid-1960s, there were differences from one state to another about the number of tiers, the relative position of Samiti and Parishads, their tenure, composition, function and finances, and so on. For example, Rajasthan adopted the three-tier system while Tamil Nadu adopted two-tier system. Question number 87. Consider the following statements with respect to Interstate Council. The Interstate Council is chaired by the Prime Minister of India. In his absence, he can appoint any cabinet minister to chair the meeting. The quorum of an Interstate Council meeting is 10 members. It should meet at least thrice a year. Interstate Council Secretariat also works as Secretariat of the Zonal Council. Question number 88. Which of the following statements is incorrect regarding the various taxes levied by center and the state? Cess is charged over and above indirect tax only. This statement is incorrect. Correct statements are: surcharge on tax and duties is levied by states, but the proceeds also retained exclusively by the center. Surcharge can't be levied on items covered under GST. Cess is charged over and above direct as well as indirect taxes. While all tax go to the Consolidated Fund of India, cess may initially go to the CFI but has to be used for the purpose for which it was collected. Question number 89. Consider the following statements regarding discretionary grants in aid. Discretionary grants in aid. These grants are also known as discretionary grants, the reason being that the center is under no obligation to give these grants and the matter lies within its direct discretion. The Article 282 empowers both the center and the state to make any grants for any public purpose. These are charged on the Consolidated Fund of India. Question number 90. What does adjournment sign D mean with respect to Parliament? Adjournment, that means adjournment without any definite date for the next sitting. Question number 91. Which of the following true regarding censure and no confidence motion? The members can move resolution to draw the attention of the House or the government to matter of general public interest. The discussion on the resolution is strictly relevant to and within the scope of the resolution. A member who has moved a resolution or amendment to a resolution cannot withdraw the same except by leave of the House. Resolutions are classified into three categories. First one, private members resolution. It is one that is moved by the private member other than a minister. It is discussed only on alternate Fridays and in the afternoon sitting. Government resolution. It is one that is moved by a minister. It can be taken up any day from Monday to Thursday. Third one, statutory resolution. It can be moved either by a private member or a minister. It is so called because it is always tabled in pursuance of a provision in the constitution or an act of parliament. Resolutions are different from motion in the following respects. First one, all resolutions come in the category of substantive motion. Second one, every resolution is a particular type of motion. Third one, all motion need not necessarily be substantive. Fourth point, all motion are not necessarily put to vote of house, whereas all the resolutions are required to be voted upon. Question number 92. Match list 1 which list 2, select the correct answer. List 1, parliamentary device. List 2, substances. First one, cut motion importance. To move a proposal to reduce expenditure on the budget proposals. Say next, call attention motion. To draw attention on the matters of urgent public importance. Privilege motion to draw attention towards incorrect answer by ministers. Adjournment motion to interrupt the normal business of the house. Question number 93. How much is the quorum of a House of Parliament of India? How much is the quorum of a House of Parliament in India? Answer, 1/10 of the membership of the House. Question number 94. Which among the following statements are true? It is the chairman of the Lok Sabha is the one who presides over the joint sitting of both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Only the speaker of Lok Sabha Speaker of the Lok Sabha is the one who presides over the joint sitting of both Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Only the Speaker of Lok Sabha has the authority to decide whether a bill is money bill or not. The chairman of Rajya Sabha does not have this authority. It is the Vice President of India who is the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha also. The chairman of Rajya Sabha is not considered as the member of Rajya Sabha, but the Speaker of Lok Sabha is considered as the member of the Lok Sabha. Also, both the chairman of Rajya Sabha and the Speaker of the Lok Sabha have the power to cast their vote in case of deadlock in their respective house. Question number 95. Which among the following statements are true about the joint sitting of two houses? The joint sitting takes place according to the rule of Lok Sabha and not Rajya Sabha. The quorum of joint sitting is 1/10 of the total members of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So far, there have been only 3 joint sitting of both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The Speaker of the Lok Sabha presides over the joint sitting of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The 3 instances where the joint sitting took place are Dowry Prohibition Bill 1960, Banking Service Commission Bill 1977, Prevention of Terrorism Bill 2002. Question number 96. Which of the following are true regarding consultative committees? Consultative committees are attached to various ministers and departments of the central government. These committees are constituted by the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs. Question number 97. Which of the following are true? Features of 6th schedule. As per the provision, the tribal areas of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram will be constituted as autonomous district. However, they lie within the executive authority of the concerned state. The governor can include or exclude any area from the list of the tribal areas and can increase or diminish the size and change the names, redraw boundaries, etc. of tribal areas. If there is different scheduled tribes in an autonomous district, the governor may by public notification divide the area or areas into areas inhabited by them into autonomous region. There shall be district council for each autonomous district having maximum 30 members, out of which maximum 4 members would be nominated by the governor. The rest shall be elected on the basis of adult suffrage and for the term of 5 years unless the council is dissolved earlier. The nominated members hold the office during the pleasure of the governor. There shall be separate regional council for each areas constituted as the autonomous region. The areas under respective jurisdiction of the district and regional council are administered by them. They can make laws on certain specified matters like land, forest, shifting cultivation, village administration, canal water, etc. However, these laws still require the assent of the governor. The district council and the regional councils can constitute village councils. They can even establish courts for trials or suits and a case between people and scheduled tribes. The extent of jurisdiction of the High Court over these suits and cases is decided by the governor. With the governor's assent, they can even make regulations for the control of money lending and trading by non-tribal. For Assam, the governor decides in respect of acts of both parliament and state legislature. For Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram, president decides for the act of parliament and the governor decides for the act of state legislature. The governor may at any time appoint a commission to examine and report on any matter specified by him relating to the administration of the autonomous district or autonomous region. Question number 19. Consider the following statement regarding 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act. As per 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, reservations for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes are also provided for at all three levels in proportion to their population. 1/3 of the position in all panchayat institutions are reserved for women. The amendment also made a provision for the mandatory creation of the Gram Sabha. The Gram Sabha would comprise of all the adult members registered as voters in the panchayat area. Its role and functions are decided by state legislation. The state government is required to appoint a state election commissioner who would be responsible for conducting elections to the Panchayati Raj institution. He or she is an independent officer and is not linked to nor in his officer under the control of Election Commissioner of India. Question number 98. Consider the following statements. Subject of the provision of Articles 197 and 198. A bill shall not be deemed to have been passed by the House of the Legislature of a state having a legislative council unless it has been agreed to by both houses, either without amendment or with such amendments only as are agreed to by both the houses. A bill pending in the legislature of the state shall not lapse by reason for the prolongation of the house and the houses thereof. A bill pending in the legislative council of the state which has not been passed by the legislative assembly shall not lapse on the dissolution of the assembly. A bill which is pending in the legislative assembly of the state or which has been passed by the legislative assembly is pending in the legislative council shall lapse on the dissolution of the assembly. Question number 100. Who among the following recommends to the Parliament for the abolition of legislative council in the state? Answer. The legislative assembly of the concerned state. Under Article 169.